Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Wonder Woman issue number 75. This was a good book that just felt really rushed. So rushed that a lot of things that happened in here were not explained. And it seems to me we're not going to get an explanation for them. But there was a great moment in here that almost made me cry. I was this close. You all know what I'm talking about if you read the book. Anyway, I'm probably going to talk a little bit spoilers at the end of this book. I've also got a serious criticism, which I'll probably be called crazy for, but hey. So let's talk about who made the book. We got, almost had it. Return of the Amazons, Part 2. G. Willow Wilson is the writer. There are three artists here, Zermanico, Jesus Marino, and Vicente Cifuentes. Romulo Fierro Jr. on colors, Pat Brousseau on letters. The Dodsons, Terry and Rachel, did the cover, and Jenny Frison did an amazing variant cover. DC still thinks that William Moulton Marston was the sole creator of Wonder Woman, but, you know, we know better. H.G. Peters, there we go. So, the next issue is supposed to have was supposed to have a variant cover by Frisson that was going to spoil the book. Go and check out my On the Horizon videos that I do once a month, where I talk about the upcoming solicits for the book, and I spoil all that stuff there. And I give a lot of praise to whoever made the decision to not make that the variant cover for issue number 76 and make it for issue 77 instead, where it won't be a spoiler, where it will be, hey, remember what happened in the last issue, the previous issue? Lucky. And I can't wait to get my hands on that variant cover. Also for issue 78, gorgeous variant covers. Jenny Frison, man, I'm done saying she's an up-and-comer of these gorgeous variant covers. Oh no, she's there. She's there. Excuse me, I can't wait to meet her, and I've got so many covers for her to sign for me. This book, like I said, it rushed its way through some things. Dimension Chi, we just learned about it recently, but we really don't know anything about it except that it's not Queen Hippolyta anymore. Now it's Empress Hippolyta. This is a version of her that Hippolyta, the queen, created, that what if she didn't have a daughter? What if she would have thrown that clay back into the sea? Showing that this is not, that at the very least, G. Willow Wilson's interpretation of Wonder Woman, the Wonder Woman that she's presenting to us, is not the New 52 Wonder Woman. Someone just mentioned that to me like last issue or 2 issues ago. Oh, no, the New 52 did away with that. No. New 52 did away with that, the New 52. This is not the New 52. This is post-Rebirth right now. This is a very, and this is G. Willow Wilson writing her, and she has the right to write her character, DC's character, in her own vein. It's one of the reasons why she was hired. So she's going to write the character the way she wants. Case in point, she's apparently going to lose the bracers pretty soon. And when she does lose those bracers, she's apparently not going to be violent berserker mode the entire time. So this is not the New 52. We have to understand that. Everybody writes a different way. Every crisis, whether it's called a crisis or not, changes a character in some way, shape, or form or another. So we should always try to keep that in mind. That being said, a dare towards moderation. I think that we should have had a better understanding of what Dimension Chi was. Case in point, if the only difference is that she threw the clay back into the sea, doesn't that mean that there should still be an Antiope there and a Nubia there? By the way, Nubia was in this comic book, and I almost flipped. Loves me some Nubia. I was really expecting there to be a Nubia versus Wonder Woman, or even, dare I say it, Nubia versus Nubia in the book. How is that possible? Listen to what I say next. Shouldn't all the Amazons be the same in Dimension Chi? Just, guided a little bit differently? Shouldn't they be the ones who are more likely to say, hey, let's fight to kill? But no, instead the Amazons on proper Earth, they are the ones who are willing to kill. Even Nubia was on that side. And although we don't know who the Amazons are on the other side, like there is no version of Antiope up there. The version of Antiope that was there is actually the Antiope from the regular Earth. So I figured there should have been 2 Antiopes there, but no, they're all just nameless people who want to, I don't know what their goal, I don't know anything about these people. I know nothing about these people. It's not fleshed out, and that's a shame. That's a huge shame, because we're talking about a potential another army for Wonder Woman, for Diana to be able to call upon, or even Queen Hippolyta to be able to call upon. There's so much potential for this Dimension Chi, and it's just kind of, no thanks. We don't want to get into that. Thanks, though. Thanks for asking. We don't know why the Amazons were so bloodthirsty. We don't know how it is that Grail was able to become in charge. We assume that's because she took down Hippolyta. How was Hippolyta taken down without a fight? Without a fight, there could have been a fight, because how would she not fight to the death? I really just don't understand what's going on. Is it because she took? Well, I don't want to spoil the comic book, but there was another captive in this book besides Hippolyta. Maybe we can headcanon reason out that that's the reason why. We don't know, however, because it wasn't explained to us. Antiope goes and screams in Nubia's face at one point, "Hey, why are you doing this? How dare you? I thought you were honorable. I guess not." And she says, "Maybe there's a reason why we're willing to, fight against you guys, but you never even stopped to ask. How about instead of getting your fifis hurt, how about you explain it and maybe we can fix it? Maybe we can address the problem instead of just, you hurt my feelings. I'm gonna try and kill you now." What the hell is going on here? Why isn't this explained better? Again, the book was rushed. I feel like there was supposed to be an explanation, but maybe Miss Wilson forgot it as she's trying to rush through an extra-sized anniversary issue. I'd like to know why Wonder Woman... Diana had the advantage of surprise and a double advantage. She also had the advantage of being in a full charge for that surprise. That should have wiped out half the army. Even if you're talking about, I'm just going to run up and hit them with their, shield bash, or hit them with the pummel of our weapon, which is something that Grail was willing to do. They just charge in, and then they stop and start having a conversation. It's like you rushed into the battle to not have a battle, to lose all of your advantages, to then lose ground because these guys are willing to kill and you're not, even though you're supposed to be the more aggressive version of the Amazons. The whole thing was just really weird. There was a lot that wasn't explained. Why didn't Wonder Woman say, "Let's save Blood, Grail, you versus me"? Because that's kind of like, that's the history of Grecian combat. And you only have to watch like a movie or two to really understand that. You don't have to start. I know that not everybody's an infantry soldier or former infantry soldier like myself. So I'm not expecting anybody to be reading military tactics of ancient Greece to understand. No, I did. We had to. We were at least taught it, and we were offered the chance to read it. We were bored, and I didn't want to read my Bible or my my army handbook every day, so I read other things. But the point is, it doesn't take that much for one woman to say, "Let's, save some lives in you and me." And then even if Grail decides to turn it down, or maybe have Nubia fight her instead, who wouldn't want to see that? Or the Nubia of, Dimension Chi, if there is one, versus Nubia. I mean, there was so much potential just wasted here because we just wanted to lose every chance we had of a clean victory. Grail is so... I get that she's supposed to be erratic, but leaving the battlefield because one person goes towards the cave and you smack another Amazon and then you put your hand out to get the weapon that you just had in your hand a few panels ago, and then as you're running you drop another weapon. I don't understand where... And then you hit her with the pummel of your dagger on the back of the head, like this is an episode of Lost. Everybody got hit in the back of the head multiple times per episode in that freaking show. Instead of just running up and getting through, or using the other thing and putting it in her back. I mean, okay, I don't understand why this happened. I don't understand what this comic book was trying to do. Nothing was explained, and everything was just rushed to the point of almost insanity. It's one of those things where Look, I've already seen the solicits for the next issues, and I am so amped to read them because you should be too. If you know what's coming up, you're hyped to read what's coming up too. At the same time, I just don't feel that we've got a good understanding of who this version of Wonder Woman is. G. Willow Wilson not only writes her own version of Wonder Woman that we don't understand. I don't understand what she's trying to do with this, this run on Wonder Woman. I really just don't get it. What is your goal here? What is your version of Wonder Woman? What's her personality like? Besides you're willing to let Atlantiatis do whatever you want to an entire city or town of people, change something in their brains so that they start doing things that they otherwise wouldn't have done. She used her power again in this issue, and yeah, I would say that she definitely imposed her will on people. Just saying. This bothers me a lot because I saw this tweet. I mention every so often, go check out my bud Comic Boom. That's comic_boom ! He does reviews on YouTube also, really gets into the DC characters, and he's a little aggressive sometimes. He's not a jerk when he does his reviews. He does get aggressive. He does say everything. He doesn't try to temper his words like I will. I don't want to insult anyone. I genuinely don't want to insult anyone. I don't want anybody to be like, dude, Bill just went and attacked me. He said all these mean things about me. I'm not trying to attack or write or anything like that. In this particular case, I'm going to get kind of close to that, though, because G. Willow Wilson put something out about her Wonder Woman on Twitter, and Comic Boom responded to it. This was actually about a month ago, and I'm just coming across all this stuff. He just said something like, we don't want to see mind-rapey people like Atlantiatis doing things like that. Look, you don't want to think, or you don't imagine that what she did was a mind rape kind of thing. I didn't exactly call it a mind rape, but it's something she definitely did. So she used her powers to change someone's thoughts, to take away an inhibition. That's exactly what it said it was. All I did was remove inhibitions. Inhibition. You guys were so bound by your inhibitions, I let your desires, rule you. That's great. That's like you basically made these people like animals. At one point she enslaved the people and made them just want to worship her. She changed something about their brain. That's what she did. And if you don't choose to believe, if you naturally, your understanding of these things is something where you don't believe that she did anything bad, all she did was, see, that's where it gets me. Once you say all she did was, it means she did something. So, and it wasn't just talking to people. She used her godlike powers actual powers to change something in their minds, to take something away, take away inhibitions, which actually changed the people, because their inhibitions is a part of us anyway. Boom just simply mentioned something like that. Now, G. Willow Wilson could have just chosen to ignore him, mute him, block him, whatever, and it is what it is. But she chose to respond. And she responded in the fashion of saying, I don't know what you're reading, and then something else. She wrote something else, and I don't remember what it was. The thing that really struck to me was, I don't know what you're reading. I don't know what book you're reading or whatever. In case you're curious, my thoughts on this are his thoughts on this, and vice versa. We're like this on these thoughts. She didn't attack him or anything like that. I mean, what's she going to do? Internet him? Oh my God. What's he going to do to her? Internet her? Oh my God. What do you call it? Boom is somebody that I talk to at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? And I so therefore I know him better than her. But even if you don't know a person, if you're going to choose to respond to someone and basically just say, I don't know what you're reading, which is basically, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's almost like saying that you're crazy. I said this and you're saying I said that. I don't know what's wrong with you, but I don't know what you're reading. He's reading your book. The title of his video was, for your book. He's responding to what you said about your book. It's like me saying, I don't know what you're writing, but that's not Wonder Woman. That's a dick thing to say. You want to be a dick, be a dick. But, sometimes we have to pay the price for being a dick. And she was a dick about that. We're reading about this character who takes away inhibitions from a person, who takes away a key component of what a human being is. And there were zero repercussions for the individual. That's what it was. So when you respond to someone in that regard who has an actual question about the way that you're handling something, and the fact that Wonder Woman wasn't willing to do something about this crime that she just inflicted upon someone, I'm just saying. That's, yeah. What that tells me about the individual, because we know a person by the friends that they hang out with, the people who they associate with. We also know a person by the way that they act. Now, maybe Miss Wilson was just in a bad mood at that moment. She was caught off guard. Whatever, blah, 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 blah. There are a million reasons. And I like to give a lot of excuses to people. At the same time, Boom didn't tell me that she reached out and said, hey, listen, I was a little bit whatever. Which tells me that she didn't. I know that we can't respond to everybody like that. And we're not all the same. Scott Snyder reached out to him, follows him. You know what I'm saying? Because he did something very similar with Scott. We're not all the same. I don't expect Miss Wilson to act like Mr. Snyder. I will say, though, to completely... It's not even... If she would have just ignored him, it would have been one thing. But to sit there and just basically almost say that you're crazy. I don't know what you're reading, but that's not what I wrote. Dare to disagree. That's exactly what you wrote. His thoughts, my thoughts, our opinions are the same on this. Yeah. And to just, it's one thing to not acknowledge somebody, but to act like that, to basically, because there are going to be people, she didn't actually call him, I'm saying basically, because she kind of did. When you say, I don't know what you're reading, when he's telling you he's reading what you wrote, you know what he's reading. You just don't agree. And there's a way to handle that. There are lots of ways to handle that. That's one of the ways not to. It tells me that she doesn't respond very well to criticism. Yeah. Literally, one critique. And she decides to basically call the person crazy. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be on this book. I hope that the next arc just kills it for me, because I would hate to have all this access to comic books and choose not to read Wonder Woman of all comic books. Not cool, man. Not cool. Anyway, guys, I'm done. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.